You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Dolphins fans. This is another episode of Dolphins Matchup, and another one, unexpectedly this time, coming to you from Victory City, where it just so happens that cans of whoop-ass are half off at every store. They were getting handed out left and right this past Sunday, much to our surprise, but much to our enjoyment as well. We're going to break that down real quick. Another place where they often have great sales, but they don't really need to because they have amazing prices every single day. That is Caneswear.com. Caneswear.com is the best place that you can get Miami Dolphins merch, where you can pick up some Miami Hurricanes merch, support them as they march towards the college football playoff, pick up some Miami Heat merch, all of your South Florida teams as they go forward. Primarily your Miami Dolphins. Caneswear.com. They have it all. Shorts, sweats, hoodies, jerseys, shirts, all that and more. I am coming to you live from the Caneswear.com Command Center because we are brought to you by Caneswear.com. If you are so lucky to be down in the South Florida area, after you pay homage, checking with my man Robert Burns, the Baron of South Florida, you can go down to their brick and mortar at 2655 South University Drive, Davie, Florida. That is Caneswear.com. Check it out. The best. A team that looked like the best was these damn Dolphins this weekend. I'm going to let you wax poetic, but what I do need to say, two things, two major things here. I mean, you know that I was over here in absolute heaven watching Mike McDaniels. He knows where the real athletes on the field are, brother. And that's on that offensive line. And that's why he needed to put 6 of them. He couldn't get enough with just the 5. He needed to put 6 of them on the field over and over and over. It was working fantastically. 37 runs to 27 passes. Damn, if only a podcast out there on the Miami Dolphins network had been mentioning that maybe they should go more run than pass for the whole season. Maybe we could have started doing this earlier. Went out there, a 6 lineman look over and over, 37 runs, well over 4 yards of carry for all 3 running backs. It was a beautiful thing. Tua, Blackbeard himself, one eye. But, you know, you have to wonder what the connection was between being in Atlanta last night and showing up to the game with Pink Eye. Very strange. You guys on audio can't see. I just made a face. I don't know what the connection might be there. There's some theories out there among how maybe you would spend a night in Atlanta and things that Atlanta is famous for, and why you would show up to a game the next morning with pink eye. Either way, our man Tua, I think he needs to roll some Charles Vane action, some Blackbeard action, some Jack Rackham action. He needs to be Pirate Tua for the rest of the season with the eye patch, because that's what it took for him to have by far his best game of the season. He was excellent. Not a ton was put on his shoulders, but damn it, hey, if you leave it there for Tua, if other things are working, if he's protected, if the running game is going, he will do his thing. He will. And he did. And he shredded them up with some fantastic, accurate passes, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Phenomenal game. Out of Tua, it was in part because other things were working. But, hey, I'm going to give him his credit when it's due. He tore them up. The offense did his thing stunningly. And this is going to come into play later during the matchup. Hey, if this defense, after what it's been through this year and what it's shown us this year, can hold Bijan Robinson under 50 yards and 2.7 yards of carry
and ruin my parlay,
there's no excuse to not be able to get it figured out against other teams. If you can do that,
well,
you can get it figured out. Rob,
you're
tell me about this victory this weekend.
You're going against a different beast on a short week here. And when I say different beast, I mean a beast in Derrick Henry versus Bijan Robinson, who Bijan can get around you. He can go over you to an extent, and he will speed past you. Derrick Henry got me, one, lisping through this monologue, but two,
I hope that's who. Is Derrick Henry going to show up, or is Derrick Henry going to show up? I hope it's the second one.
That's the question. I think Dolphins fans are hoping it's Derrick Henry, because you don't want a guy again running for who could very easily run for 200 yards on you. If anyone in the league can, it can be Derrick Henry. So the question is, while the performance in Atlanta was unexpected, and everything seemed to work very well, and I'm sure the offensive lineman on the show here is going to pee himself if Mike McDaniel then throws a pass to an offensive lineman as a tight end. Can you believe that one? Then I think that they may have found something to help save some wins this season. I don't think it's going to save the season, but it's something that can save some wins for them this season. So that's the question: is how do you go into the short weekend? And fortunately for them, they have a short week where you can't overthink it. You don't really have the extra days to put in extra things and get fancy with it and feel confident with yourself. And I know the short weeks mean very similar playbook styles, just adjusted for who you're going against here. So if you're going to get offensive on anybody, it can be this Ravens defense too. Not the best defense in the world, has been in previous years, has the capability to still be a very good defense. You saw they beat the Chicago Bears. The defense came through, and this is a team that they can be opportunistic, but this year it just hasn't been there, and they needed that win to kind of show people, hey, we still want to be a part of the season. The scary part for the Dolphins is not only is Derrick Henry going to be out there, but also now Lamar Jackson, a well-rested Lamar Jackson, is deciding to make his debut on Thursday Night Football as opposed to last week. So if anyone is looking forward to running against the Miami Dolphins defense, which is no longer dead last in the NFL, right, like 26th or something like that, they're no longer dead last thanks to the Bijan Robinson, hold down. They could very easily go back to being dead last if you don't contain one or both of these grown men that are going to be out there on the offense for the Baltimore Ravens. So that's the question that we're going to have to see on a short week. Not a lot of time to heal up. You had a couple of bumps and bruises last week, and for Dolphins fans, it felt good. It felt good to get an unexpected win. I think that fans feel better seeing the team beat the Falcons than if they would have just beat the Panthers, and we had expected it, right? Yeah. Like it was almost like this is a nice little surprise versus I saw this one coming. And so I think we've got a lot of reverses this year in terms of games we didn't expect to lose, they lose, and games we don't expect to win. Now they have one in there, and being very competitive with Buffalo going into the end of that, and now New England, is head dog in the division. So, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But I think for this short week, it's probably a blessing for them. They don't have time to overthink it, and they didn't have any catastrophic injuries outside of Storm Duck, who was just really making his way back. He played the whole season without him anyway. So Thursday Night Football, interesting. I actually have reason to watch the first half. Whether I have reason to watch the second half, I don't know how good I feel about it.
We'll say. All right, so right into it. I was consulting with some of my co-hosts on some other stuff who are from Baltimore. I said, is there any place that we can find that you would suggest that may help Tua with his pink eye situation? And there was no good suggestion. So I don't know if one-eye Tua is showing up to this game. Therefore, he's been hurt. He might be a little out of shape. The cardio might not be what it is for all the running he does. And to be perfectly honest, before he went out, he was not having a highly graded season. It was a small sample size.
Sure.
All of that said, I'm definitely still going Lamar here.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy's got MVP awards. He's got playoff wins, not many of them, but he has more than Tua. He's the better overall quarterback. And here's the thing. It's almost to the point of where he's coming in fully healthy-ish. He had, a couple of games. Then he went out, and now the hamstring and the legs are feeling fine. He should be ready to roll. He was probably fine to play last week, just given the extra 3 days, and unfortunately they didn't need him. So we've got Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Devon Achane, and the other two running backs who decided to show up.
Yes, sir, they did.
And actually contribute with Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright. I mean, the three-headed monster that they were able to put out there, thanks to having 6 offensive linemen, 3 running backs. They got over 100.
I was having such a good day.
It really helps. It really helps the offense. That's what this offense is supposed to be, instead of 40 passes and 15 runs. This offense is meant to be a run-first offense, with then Tua having the field open up for him, being able to distribute the ball and letting playmakers make plays like Jalen Waddle actually did last week. And so I'm still going Derrick Henry because
Derrick Henry's the man.
He is Derrick Henry. But after last week, I feel better than I have in previous weeks. That has to continue. If you listen to the show throughout the season, that has to continue for me to give them, much more of a leg. If this is a dud of a week and they go into a Ravens running defense that isn't that great and they put up 80 yards out of 3 players, I'm done. Right? Like I can't justify it, going into this week. So that very well could happen. But same thing with Derrick Henry. They may just decide it's a Lamar Jackson game and let it fly, kid. And run it if you need it. But I lean Derrick Henry because he is Derrick Henry. And I wish the Dolphins would have given up whatever they had to give up for him.
I just want to bring up real quick, raise a point, since we're talking running backs, running game, and then we're going to wide receivers. When we both mentioned a couple weeks ago when Tyreek went out, like, hey, maybe this is going to shackle Mike McDaniel into figuring some things out that might be better for the offense. And some people lost their minds about that online. This is what we were referring to. This exactly what just happened last week. Not necessarily. I didn't have him. I didn't think it was going to go that well. We're going to get 6 linemen on the field, baby. But something else that's going to be more based in the run game. Look, man, I'm telling you right now, I don't think, do you, Robert Burns, do you think it's realistic to think that if Tyreek was still there, the game plan from this past Sunday would have ever happened or ever entered anyone's mind?
We would be continuing to live week 2 over and over and over again.
Just saying. So, heal up, but this is what we were talking about.
Get better. I don't know if he's part of the team next year, Tyreek, but for what they have on the field, they may do. I mean, Tua was able to find 8 different receivers, 4 different people catching touchdowns from him last week. It worked against the Atlanta defense, and it could work against this Ravens defense. When we're looking at the wide receiver,
when we get there,
when we look at the wide receiver, I mean, look, we don't have to do tight ends. We already know we don't have a tight end. They have a tight end.
I do want to say on tight end, I do want to say Dulcich is another guy who I've been very interested in for a long time, seeing him operate in this system. There's been prospects over the years, guys that I watch a lot of college football. Dulcich was a bad boy. He was like a little bit more finesse George Kittle in college at UCLA for the Chip Kelly offense. I've always been interested in seeing him in this offense. He hasn't really done much in the NFL, but I was happy with that pickup. We'll see what happens. But yes, Mark Andrews, perennial Pro Bowler, definitely give it to them. Wide receivers, it's tough because the Ravens side has not had their quarterback all year, so there hasn't been a ton of production for them.
Mm-hmm. I do like the combination of Zay Flowers and
I love Zay Flowers as a player.
Rashad Bateman as well. I like that. If you're asking me which one would I rather have, I'd rather have the group of that than Jalen Waddle and Malik Washington and Westbrook Akine. So I don't get me wrong, love Malik Washington. He's doing a lot, but I don't think he's to the level. Let's just say Waddle and Zay Flowers cancel out each other, right? Is Malik Washington or anybody else canceling out the talent that D-Hop is bringing?
DeAndre Hopkins might have a Maytag slapped across the back of his helmet because he might be a washing machine washed. So we'll see.
Well, here's the thing. I watched a couple of their early games, and he showed up during that early Buffalo game. I'm trying to go back and look at their schedule real quick to remember who they played in week 2. Cleveland game, he showed up when they won 41-17, when they were putting up 40 points a game. Detroit game, That was the Mark Andrews game. But, as a number 2 receiver, he's not number 1 anymore. He's 30-something years old.
Yeah.
The number 2 receiver, it's a hell of an option, if you're able to get him the ball.
Okay. Well, I'll go Ravens. I wanted to go push, but you've made fine points here. Offensive lines. Hey, man. It wasn't spectacular. But shout out to Jonas Avenilla. Having by a country mile, his best game of his career so far. 55 PFF. Even got a shout out on the broadcast. Whipping people in the run game. Some things and some concepts that were supposed to be working from the beginning with Savanea, with Brewer, with those team ups. We're working in this game. So I don't know if this is growth or development or just a one-off. Atlanta didn't show up, what it was. But, hey, man, for a week, good job by you, buddy.
Yeah. And we talked about it before. Offensive linemen get better when you run the ball. Doesn't matter how bad they're playing.
Crazy when that happens. That said, Ravens' offensive line is pretty markedly better. Ronnie Stanley's ranked pretty well. Tyler Linderbaum, their center, a little bit of center talk, baby, is tied with Aaron Brewer. They have the exact same PFF grade. They're tied at 3rd place. So Linderbaum is excellent, always has been since he came in the league. Daniel Falele, huge guy at guard, having a decent season. And Rose Garden out there at tackle, also having an above average season. Definitely better than the Dolphins' offensive line. I appreciate and I hope that we get to see more of the offensive line of the Dolphins' offensive line get to emphasize the things that they seem to be improving at last week. But for now, still going to have to go Ravens on this one.
No, I agree. Ravens on this one. I will give Aaron Brewer his due. I played a great game. Patrick Paul played a good game. Saw them running down the field, making blocks, having big blocks that became memes shortly after the game. So I will give those two guys, huge credit. The other 4, I guess, offensive linemen. I have to get used to saying this now. The other 4 offensive linemen play again when they're running the ball, they're playing well. And so this is a game where if you get behind because of whatever circumstances, a scrambling quarterback, which has always been the Achilles heel for the Dolphins defense, big time running back, if you end up getting behind and you have to throw the ball, then you might have some issues. But I agree with you. The offensive line for the Ravens is having a better year than just a couple of players for the Dolphins offensive line.
Defensive lines.
Let's reference this. Let's go back for the listeners to understand what the hell my parlay was that the Dolphins screwed up last week, okay? Because I'm not even proud of this, but it happened. We had our show last week. Neither one of us had confidence in the Dolphins. Neither one of us had confidence in the Dolphins defense to stop the Falcons offense. So I picked the Falcons to win. I guess I'm happy because the Dolphins won, but that lost. I had Bijan Robinson just to get over. I had him to get 80 yards. I paid to get, under the actual line there. He had 25, if you recall. I had Kirk Cousins throwing for at least 200 yards. I'm like, this guy's got something to prove. Less than 200 yards. But my Devon Achane over 50 yards rushing. That's sure cash at 67.
Easy.
So I had one payout on that whole parlay that didn't work for the garbage. So my lack of faith in the Dolphins bit me in the behind last week. And I was even messaging Eric before the show, before the game. I was like, what do you think about this? He's like, you know what? It's fine. It's good enough. No, there goes.
I said the game script concerned me.
$15.
And the game script did end up messing you up, but not in the way that I thought it was going to. That's what happens
$15 down the drain
when you don't have any damn faith. Dutch Vanderlyn. Front sevens.
Yeah.
Real quick shout out. Jordan Brooks had the game of games last week. Was an absolute animal. Chop Robinson had a pretty good game. Zach Sealer came out of the witness protection program with the FBI and was seen on the field engaging in a football-like substance on Sunday. He had a great game. So,
well, the FBI was busy with the NBA, so they let Zach Sealer out for a couple.
There we go. Honestly, so this is the point of the show. We talk about how the Ravens defense is ranked 22nd against the run and 27th overall. It's really weird to think about with a Ravens defense. But they have been bad this year, man. Bad.
Yeah. And I think the loss of Nnamdi Madubuike really hurts them, up on that offense, up on the defensive line rather. For them, they've got guys that are playing at a lesser capacity than they were a year ago, right? Not a lot of changes overall.
It's very similar to the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. The names are there, but the numbers are not.
Yeah, and I believe they're going to have Kyle Van Noy back this week, a name the Dolphins are familiar with. They do have Roquan Smith, who can roam and do anything that you ever want. But when you got a guy playing like Jordan Brooks out there who is looking for defensive tackles on the season, he's trying to be the number one tackler in the league for the season, and he's trying to go to the Pro Bowl, and he's trying to cash in on it. Keep playing, buddy. Keep going right ahead. And when the defense shows up like they did last week, when you have that momentum, especially on a short week, like I said, it's just heal up and play again. I don't lean towards a lot of changes happening for the Dolphins. So I feel like because of all those circumstances, I'm a lot closer here. I might even lean Miami. Do I dare say it?
Front seven, I'm going push. Just because Roquan Smith is having just as good of a season as Jordan Brooks is. And so both teams kind of have like their one gem of a very weak, non-productive front seven. All that said, and we'll get to this when we do final game scores. There's going to be opportunities here for the offense. There will be opportunities. What's going to happen on the defensive side of the ball with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? But there are going to be opportunities for this offense on Thursday night.
No, I agree. So I'd lean push or maybe a point out of loyalty for the Dolphins. I don't know.
Heyo, this carries over to the secondary, where much like the Dolphins have two. By the way, Dante Trader, highest graded player on the entire Dolphins roster on Sunday, had a phenomenal game. Hopefully he can build on it. That would be a great find for this season. Such a late round pick, a rookie developing into a solid starting safety. Had an excellent game on Sunday. Otherwise, though, the secondaries, again, are very, very similar in that they have two standout players. They have one standout corner in Wiggins. They have a standout safety in Kyle Hamilton. The rest of the secondary is looking toasty, very toasty, much like the Dolphins, who have Rasul Douglas and Minka Fitzpatrick, both ranked in the top 10 at their positions. So, to me, I'm going push again on the secondaries.
Yeah, I agree. They're just they are night and night. Similar for the Ravens and the Dolphins. Again,
the night is dark and full of terrors.
It's pretty much they're a mirror image of each other at this point. Just a bunch of underachieving group. And I mean, if I lean anything, I may lean towards the Ravens secondary on this case. They've been a little bit more opportunistic. They have a few more turnovers. The loss of Storm Duck. How's Miami going to be able to keep filling in that gap and having Jones and Rasul Douglas and Minka? Like, how much more can they do? But I agree, they're so similar. It's flip a coin.
Special teams.
I mean, I got no beef with either one of them right now. I don't think either one is lights out different than the other. Neither one's going to win the game for you. Neither one's going to lose the game for you. If it comes down to kickers, though, I mean, I guess that's pretty even too. I think Patterson's
Riley Pat's been all right, man.
Yeah.
I
think I hate to say, I think I got to push on this one too for the special teams. Looking at what they're able to kind of bring out there. Yeah, I push. Yeah, looking at the numbers, there's nothing that stands out.
I mean, I think that this is pretty emblematic about how the game's going to play out, right? We basically gave every offensive spot to the Ravens, but as far as the defensive side of the ball, it's all push. Their defense is not good, and their special teams is a push too. So I think those are the key areas that you're going to see things play out.
Tyler Coaches, that's the kicker for Baltimore. Tyler, that was the name I was trying to go with. Coaches, I go towards a Super Bowl winning coach always, so I go to Harbaugh. But I think there might be a little juice here with Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick is going to be able to Miami has our defensive coordinator going up against his former team a couple of years removed. So does that have anything to play? Probably not. But he's going to get some of his old players, and maybe he knows a couple of habits that he might be able to, let the offensive know about. So I still lean towards Baltimore, but.
So all this said, there are going to be opportunities. I'm not saying that they're going to be able to. It's a Thursday night game. Thursday night games get weird. Thursday night games stay close.
It's a Halloween Thursday night.
It's a Halloween Thursday night. Everybody is on the Ravens. They have to win. Lamar's back. He's our conquering hero. He's coming back. We have no idea the way that the vibes might have shifted after this victory on Sunday. It's a Thursday night game. The things that the Ravens defense are susceptible to are the things that the Dolphins offense, when it's not mired in idiocy, do well. I'm just throwing that out there. I think that if the Dolphins defense, because like I said at the beginning of the show, if they were able to figure it out enough to hold Bijan Robinson with the tear he's on to 25 yards after earlier on in this season surrendering, I believe, 576 yards to Rico Dowdle, if they can go from that to holding Bijan to 25 yards, there is no reason that they cannot figure out a way to hold this Ravens offense to between 20 and 24 points. And if they do that, I think there's going to be an opportunity here. That said, Robert, what's your final score?
So, you had me looking at the numbers for Derrick Henry here, and he did not have a great start to the year. We talked about this: 50 yards, 42 yards, 33 yards. Then they played the Rams.
Likes to fumble
too.
And
he woke up. 122 yards, 71 yards in the win against Chicago last week. You're right. He has 4 fumbles in 5 games, 2 just last week. 1 cost them the game against Buffalo. So, that being said, 27-24 Ravens.
That's about where I was,
boys. Because it's at home, I still think the better quarterback and the better running back find a way to make this win. But if magic's going to happen, it's going to happen on prime time. That's going to happen here. I've heard that tickets may be a little less expensive than previous games, just to kind of bring some of the fans back. I see a chance to pull this out. Maybe Lamar's rusty too.
Yep.
After a month or so off.
Well, and that's what I was talking about earlier, like hamstring. He hasn't been doing a lot of running.
Yep.
And his game is highly based around a lot of running. So I don't know where that guy's cardio might be at this point. I don't know if he's going to be as effective later on in the game as he usually is, coming fresh off of this injury. That said, I'm just about right there with you. 30-20 is about where I had it. But like I said, I think there's going to be opportunities. 30-20 is what I'm going with. Okay.
Boulder Bull, Lamar Jackson runs for over 35 yards.
Oh, bold.
That's the line.
I thought you were going to say 100. Oh, no. Yeah. He's
Lamar Jackson, the line is 35.
Well, in my mind's eye, he's up around 100, but by the 4th, he's kind of tired. That's kind of what I'm thinking of when I say this. I think he's going to, like, in the first half, I think they're probably going to get theirs. What happens after that? After everybody settles in? The issue there is if the Ravens get a good amount of points in the first half, Mike McDaniels is going to get pass happy, and then we've seen how that goes every single time. Yeah. So that's kind of what I assume is going to happen. But if we're looking for opportunities, if we're looking for cracks of daylight, those are the places where they would be.
Boulder Bull, Bradley Chubb gets the first sack for the Dolphins.
Okay, it's okay. I was about to say, well, yeah, because Jalen Phillips isn't going to be on the team anymore. But
not next week. Maybe not next week. But this week,
speaking of which, this isn't the Boulder Bowl, and we already did defensive line. Kenneth Grant, baby, had an excellent game on Sunday. Speaking of another rookie who's developing, all three rookies, Jonas Avenea, Kenneth Grant, Dante Trader, had phenomenal games on Sunday. Great to see them develop.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb, I'm going to go with yes. He is going to be the first one to get a sack because Jalen Phillips is leads the league in almost. So
yes.
If you ask me who's the first person to almost get a sack, it would definitely be Jalen Phillips. But since we're going an actual sack, yes, I will go Bradley Chubb, and it'll be in the fourth quarter when the game is well out of reach. No,
against the backups.
When Lamar Jackson is tired for running for 150 on the Dolphins defense.
That's fair. All right.
Any more Boulder Bulls? You were killing them.
I mean, I'm going off the lines here. But I'll throw a different one out there. Bold or Bull. Jalen Phillips will be traded after the game, before the deadline, because we won't have a show before the next deadline,
before the trade deadline.
Yeah. So Jalen Phillips. This is the last time we will be talking about Jalen Phillips.
I'm gonna go with Bull. I think Bradley Chubb is more, just because
he's got more value. He's got more value for sure.
Just because. Well, exactly. So trading Jalen Phillips would be the smart thing. So I'm gonna assume the Dolphins are going to do the opposite of the smart thing and keep him and trade Bradley Chubb. So because Phillips, you could probably get a little bit higher compensation back for, because he's a younger player. So you could get the higher compensation, and also you're going to have to pay Jalen Phillips next year. So to me, trading him is the smarter move than trading Bradley Chubb, because Chubb's already kind of locked in. You're not going to have to pay him again. He's a productive player still. You can kind of bring in new young defensive guys, be under his fellowship in the future. So to me, keeping Chubb is the smarter thing. So I'm going to assume they're going to do the opposite of the smart thing and trade him.
So riddle me this. So what if the reason they trade Chubb is to get the majority of that salary off the books? Jalen Phillips will not require as high of a contract as he would have 2 years ago.
He won't, but he's still going to get a lot, I think.
He still will get some, but it's not going to be as much as you're paying Bradley Chubb. So remember when they restructured Bradley Chubb's contract, he was still superstar.
Yeah.
So you get young Jalen Phillips cheaper than Bradley Chubb on one side, and you have young Chop Robinson on the other side. And then you save whatever money is on Bradley Chubb that you can save that the other team is not going to absorb. And then you take that into the offseason for whatever new coaching regime you have. Think about that, just putting it out there. You're right. They probably will do what you said, but I could see a world.
There's a world where it can work out, but it's also like kind of in a vacuum. Like we don't know the answer to that until we know what Phillips' deal
we're
is going to be.
We're playing with vapor right now.
And I think just even a young player who has been pretty productive, who has gotten pressures, I think he's going to command at least $20 million a year. And I personally, from what I have seen, am not in the paid Jalen Phillips $20 million a year business. I am not in that business. So I would be happy to let some other team be in that business. So we'll see about that. Bold or bull, we'll do our usual. Well, no, because we had a little bit of we were going back and forth a little bit on D-Hop. So we'll do a little personal one here, kind of like our David Sills situation last week. 2 catches, by the way. My man. Stuck with it.
No anytime touchdown, though.
Sadly. Boulder Bull, DeAndre Hopkins. 4.5 catches.
Boulder Bull, DeAndre Hopkins.
4.5 catches.
So you're saying take the over under.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where's D-Hop stats here, and how's he been doing recently? Bull, because he hasn't had more than 2 in the past month and a half. So receptions or targets? What did you say? What did you ask?
Receptions.
He hasn't had more than 2 in the past month and a half. So in any game,
Maytag, I'm telling you, all right, we will see how the Maytag man and the rest of the Ravens do against the Dolphins. Hope we're back here talking about another victory. We're talking about how Mike McDaniels figured out a way to crack the code and put 7 offensive linemen up there. I hope that's what we're talking about next week, and 40 carries for the running backs in another victorious outing on a Thursday night. Check that out. Check out everything else that's going on here on DolphinsTalk.com. This is Dolphins Matchup. Let's go, Dolphins fans.